Hello. If you're considering investing in a thermodynamic panel to heat your water, then you might find this video interesting. We put in a wood burning stove quite a few years ago, and that basically helped us out greatly with our central heating, but we didn't put in a back boiler at the time for all sorts of reasons, mainly because we didn't want our living room to be overheating in the summer when we didn't really need the stove on, but we wanted hot water. We've got a combi boiler, oil fired, so it was starting to get a bit expensive using that. But the stove allowed us to basically not use our central heating that much, keeping doors open through the house, allowed the heat from the stove just to keep the chill off the house, and we only needed a little top up of heating from the central heating once in a while. So a new technology kind of appeared, and we were quite interested in this, and that's the thermodynamic panel, which links very easily with a combi boiler hot water central heating system. This diagram shows the basic setup of what we've put in our house. It's a single panel, compressor, pressurized cylinder, which is 200 litres, but only about 160, 170 litres of that is usable hot water. The very bottom part of the tank is cold water as it feeds in. Okay, and then the basically, because it's at mains pressure, it just feeds in to your hot water system, so you can link in pretty much anywhere you can find a hot water pipe, which was really a big advantage for us, because where our boiler is at the moment was a long way away from the front of the house, which should have been pretty tricky. This shows the outside of our house, looking at the south side and the east end of the house, the east gable. Okay, so the thermodynamic panel is here, shown in red, in pink, and just beyond that you can see our solar panels, and we put those solar panels in a couple of years ago to basically get some of that FIT payment money and take the edge off our electrical use. The main kit is sitting in the loft space, so you can see here the cylinder. You have to have a hatch big enough to get this cylinder through. Ours was pretty generous, so we were okay. The compressor unit that sits on the side of it, that adds on later on, so it's only the size of the cylinder that you need to have for the hatch. The grey unit you can see on the right hand side there, that's the controls for the solar panels, so just ignore that. The blue vessel in the background on the left, though, that is the expansion tank that goes with the new cylinder, and above that we have the valves for disabling the hot water if you need to. But simply turning off your stopcock, because it's all a pressurized system anyway, just turning off your stopcock stops your hot water as well. Okay, this is the panel that you have on the compressor unit, and basically you just leave it alone, it'll do its own thing. You can see the word comp above there. That means that the compressor at the moment was running and trying to bring the water up to temperature. Okay, you see there's got 3 bars there next to a small thermometer icon. Once it gets to 4 bars, that's the water reached its 52 degrees temperature. Ours is set at 52 degrees. There is an anti-legionella switch, and this can be used for that purpose. If you intend leaving the system alone for a good couple of weeks, then you should really purge it with the anti-legionella. It brings it just up to a higher temperature, just to kill off any bugs. But the legionella switch can also be used as a boost, which is pretty handy. So if you drained the whole tank, if you had a lot of people all taking baths and showers in one day, then you may need to actually force the tank to fill using a standard using a standard heating element, and that's what the Legionella system's for. You can use it as a boost. Problem is the system's in the loft, so you have to go up into the loft to put the anti-Legionella switch on. But it switches itself off automatically when it gets up to temperature. So that's really all there is to do. You basically install this, hook it up to cold and hot water feeds, and you're up and running. And I've done a couple of time-lapse things here so you can see what happens to the actual panel. When you start running a tap and the compressor goes on, the coolant in the system gets pumped through the panel, and immediately on a winter's day, as this was filmed, you start to see everything starting to freeze up, and this is exactly what's supposed to happen. It's kind of bizarre, but it's pretty cool. You see the droplets initially freeze, and then as the coolant is pumped around over time, the rest of the panel starts to frost over. So you can see that happening in these little clips here. Okay, once the compressor has stopped running, it starts to thaw out again, and your panel goes back to being black. These were filmed on a day when the external temperature was just 3 degrees centigrade. Humidity was pretty high, that's why there's quite a lot of frost showing up. So there's a lot of moisture in the air. It was very damp days, and there's a lot of stuff around which will kind of condense on the panels and then freeze. But for initial impressions are extremely good. We've only had the system in for 4 days now, but already I'm extremely impressed, and we're looking forward to kind of seeing how much impact this has on our oil use. We're instead of having our boiler trying to heat the water every twice a day for 3 or 4 hours at a time, it's switched off. There's only a compressor running once in a while, basically the same kind of usage as a fridge. It kind of depends on the outside temperature how fast the system is going to fill up completely with hot water. I think they're kind of quoted times of between 3 and 4 hours, but on a very cold day it could take longer. But it all depends if you've completely drained it or not. The hot water rises to the top, so there's always something there to use. Just the other day I thought, right, I'm just trying to see if I can drain this, see what happens. I washed the pots with hot water, rinsed them with hot water. I left the tap on for 20 minutes running. I then gave up on that and went and filled a bath as well, and there was still plenty of hot water after that. Absolutely plenty. You'd be amazed, compared to this pain in the backside of getting hot water from a oil-fired combi boiler. This is an absolute godsend. Lots and lots of messing around with showers and things to get good hot water flow with a combi. And we just didn't want to throw any money at that system again. We thought, let's try something else, and we're very glad we did.